Good morning, everyone. Welcome to pre-market session on August 28th, and let's get started here with going over a couple of events and reports, and checking out the overall market and some interesting stocks to watch. First of all, today we're gonna have Kevin Warsh speaking at 10 a.m. That's the Jackson Hole Economic Policy event, and he's going to be talking at 10 a.m. and that is going to be a pretty important event for the market and economic data for the market. Also, we're gonna have consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. as well, and also Chicago PMI at 9:45. So we're gonna have a couple of important economic events this morning, right? For the first 30 minutes, we're gonna receive a lot of economic reports and news, and like these would be a catalyst for the market, definitely. So make sure you are aware of all of these, the time of all of these events, because it will definitely affect your overall execution and trade performance. Another important news here is that MRVL had earning, and let's take a look at MRVL, and let's see what happened on MRVL's earning. It beated revenue and earning, right? Both. And Q2 data center revenue rose 46% year over year, and totally 79% increase in total revenue. But the investors, it beated earning, beated revenue, everything is good. However, the price sold off, and it is a lot weaker today as well. That was because investors looking for more visibility beyond 2028, right? Did not provide any 2029 outlook, and with this massive gain that it had recently in the last basically 33 months, investors were looking forward to see a clear guidance, but that didn't happen, and we're seeing a gap down. Okay, and with that being said, let's take a look at, that's the main name that I wanted to talk about that had news. The other events are going to be at 9:45 and 10 a.m., which are going to be important. So make sure you know how to manage your positions around these times, as we might see some sort of volatility in the overall market and a lot of individual tickers. Let's take a look at SPY. So S&P 500 held 762 really well in the last week. Last 4, 5, 6 trading days. Right above 762, we held this zone, bounced above this level multiple times, and this is the previous all-time high on SPY, right? So we are seeing SPY bouncing above this zone of 762 finally after NVIDIA's earning, and now we are trying to reclaim yesterday's high. Yesterday's high so far in the pre-market. Now there are a couple of resistance zones right above us, right? So we have 722 all the way up till this 724 as the as a resistance zone on SPY. We need to break through that zone for a clear indication of the buyers are in control and a possible continuation will happen. And above that zone, we obviously have another resistance zone, which is the all-time high resistance of 776, 770, 9. Now we're far from there. The key zone on watch would be this resistance zone of 772, 773 as the main resistance on SPY. And if we hold above this zone, the next major target would be 775 and then 776 on SPY. On the other hand, if we keep rejecting here, the price might bounce back down, and the main demand zone would be 768, 767 on SPY. Okay, on the daily chart, we're clearly breaking out of this 9 and 21 EMA cloud, right? This area, and the price is getting out of that zone, obviously, and the momentum is there for a possible continuation, but you want to pay attention to the whole zones and make sure the price clearly breaks the zone for higher confirmation, and yeah, take the long trade if you want at that point. Otherwise, if we see a rejection, a reversal play would be interesting to watch, as we rejected these zones yesterday, right? We rejected, and then we had a massive reversal back down. Now, in a higher time frame, it was not really that massive, but in a short term and intraday, there is a good opportunity for trading reversal. Now, this may present itself today as well. So the way price reacts to this zone will be important to watch for deciding whether we want to go for a reversal or breakout on SPY. Qs, pretty much the same structure, right? We broke out of the 921 EMA cloud. We bounced above 710, 712 demand zone, the zone that we have been holding for a week, for 5 trading days in a row. And let me extend this. And so now we are rejecting 720.22 zone, right? So this is the same zone we rejected yesterday, and now we are kind of rejecting in the pre-market. If very similar to SPY's price action, if we break out of this zone and control the level, the next major resistance would be 726, 729 on Qs. If we cannot and reject the zone, the main demand zone for me is around 715 and then 712. Yeah, not that interested in like a short setup on Qs because we have a massive demand zone right below us. But if it presents itself, the target would be around 715 and maximum 712 and 710 on QQQ. Okay, so SMH, let's take a look at SMH here. We bounced above 540.42 demand zone, and we broke out of moving averages post NVIDIA earning, and now we're holding right above this 565, 566 zone so far. So this zone is going to be our main demand zone on watch on SMH, right? If we keep holding 565, 566 zone, then we will be able to bounce above this level and continue pushing higher, retest 580, 85, right? 584, 85 as the next major resistance on SMH. And above that would be like right above like 600 zone. But yeah, these two critical points on watch: the pre-market high, and then the next target would be 584, 85, and also 565 as the main demand on SMH. Apple is trying to break out of 316.17 zone again. So yeah, we need to see Apple reclaim above 317 and hold above that level. That would be important and key for a possible continuation and a bullish setup on Apple. other than that, we might see a similar fake break and then reversal. Well, not sure if you're interested in taking that. Tesla bounced above 340 demand zone really well, 345 really well yesterday, and we broke out of this triangle formation as well, and the price is holding pretty strong above yesterday's range, and we bounced above that zone. Now we are retesting that zone and kind of holding above 355 so far. If Tesla keeps holding 354, 355 zone, there might be a high chance of continuation, and a breakout of 357, 358 would push the price higher to 361, 362-ish as the main resistance zone. And then finally, the next major resistance is around 366, 368 resistance on Tesla. If we do not hold a 355, well, the next major zone would be right around this 350, 51-ish area. This is also green, right? And then after that, we could go down till 347 and 342 as the next major levels. However, well, if that happens, I won't be interested in trading Tesla until it breaks down below 345 and controls this zone, or below, ideally below 342, 345 zone. We're really far from there, and we saw that the bid was able to control this zone. We need a clear catalyst for Tesla to totally sell off and break down. We don't have it yet, and we need to see how it can basically keep holding this 345 zone, and at the same time control 356 and the next major resistance levels. NVIDIA had a good rally post earning, and yesterday we rejected this zone, right? The same area that we are almost at on NVIDIA, right? This was the major resistance. We finally broke out of this zone, rejected 230, and now we are kind of holding this area as the demand on NVIDIA, right? Above this zone, we have 230, which is obviously the yesterday's high, and then we have 233 and 236 as the next major resistances. 236 is the all-time high, so we're very close to the all-time high on NVIDIA, as you can see on weekly chart, and the price needs to hold 223, 225 zone as the first critical demand zone. The main resistance would be the pre-market and the yesterday high as the main resistance zone on watch on NVIDIA. If we reclaim it, we'll clearly be able to break out of this zone and hold above this level and go for all-time high play. Yeah, in case of a rejection, the main demand zone that the price should hold would be around 224, 225. All right. Google, not that interesting. AMD, just flat. Intel bounced and retested moving averages. Pretty interesting. And yeah, if it keeps rejecting 90 and push lower, a short setup could be interesting for a target of 85, 80, 86, 85 on Intel. But yeah, overall, it really depends on the overall semiconductors performance. We bounced above 150 SMA, just almost above 150 SMA recently, and reclaim above 95 would also be very interesting to trade long on Intel for a target of 100 and 105. Meta had a pretty crazy trading day on Wednesday, and then yesterday it started consolidating pretty well. Look at the wild volatile moves on hourly chart on Meta's price action. Pretty insane. And yeah, we're consolidating right here. So I would like to see Meta below 560 or above the 600 ideally. Another setup that is happening here is this triangle on Meta. So it would be interesting to watch this triangle, to watch Meta for a breakout of this triangle for a possible sell-off, or if it pushes higher for a retest of 600 zone. Cool. So for now, what we're seeing is a rejection of this 600 level and a pretty strong basically sell-off, and then a rejection, and now the price is slightly holding in 921 EMA cloud. MU, yeah, still struggling to break out of this 1000 zone. For long, I would be interested in focusing on MU above 1000 for a clear short setup. Below 890 would be the ideal setup. And Microsoft had a pretty strong move yesterday, and let's take a look at Microsoft's weekly, and let's take a look at weekly chart. So we are right around this 510 506 zone. The all-time high is at 550, so we're getting close to all-time high on Microsoft. Now yesterday we broke out of this channel and broke out of 493-ish zone, and finally broke out of 500, which was a pretty important resistance zone. Now we are holding right below 506. The main demand zone would be $500 on Microsoft. I want to see Microsoft holding 500 as the main demand area, and if it reclaims 506 and breaks out of 506, I want to see bid controlling the zone, and the target would be 513, and then 518.20 as the next major levels and the target on Microsoft in case of a bullish continuation. All right, and Amazon was weak yesterday, didn't clearly feel the gap, or I mean, did continue selling off and didn't move toward filling the gap, and it bounced above this zone, and finally yeah, it started slowly pushing lower, but the bid stepped in and pushed the price higher. Now we're seeing the price is bouncing above this level, so Amazon could be interesting to watch as well. We might see a possible fake out for short sellers and a possible squeeze if it starts reversing here and ideally gets above 262, 263. We might see a bullish push on AMD's price, on Amazon's price action as well. PLTR broke out of this prison zone finally yesterday, broke out of the level. The market is open and now above 186, 187, on watch for a possible continuation, and MRVL also on watch for a sell-off continuation, especially below this zone of 220 would be interesting to watch. All right, so let me know what you guys are watching for the day. Cool. With that being said, I'll be going ahead and trade live with the team. If you want to join us, make sure to check out the link in the description. I will see you guys in the next